Each and every one of us has an unlimited inner wellspring of spiritual power. You have the ability to transform, create, and heal anything upon which you set your heart and mind. Join me, Sarah Hall, as we learn how to uplift all aspects of your life through spiritual empowerment. Enjoy weekly guided meditations, spiritual discussions on a multitude of topics, and a chance to call in to receive channeled messages from the angels on your spiritual journey. I'm Sarah Hall, and this is Through the Eyes of the Angels. The author of the book, Angelic Attendants, and intuitive medium, Julie Ryan. Julie is a psychic, medical intuitive, and energy healer. She communicates with angels, with our loved ones in heaven. She can also scan animals and read energy to gain insights there, as well as with people who are even living, she can read remotely. It's amazing. And one of the things that I love the most about Julie and her work is that she is a guide for the death and dying process. She can intuitively tell how close to death someone is by reading their energy and by, of course, communicating with the angels. And in Julie's book, Angelic Attendants, she teaches about the amazing role that the angels play in the dying process, which to me is one of the most beautiful rites of passage that a human being can ever experience, is that moment when we go home to heaven. So Julie is truly a gift because she's giving us a window into what that most beautiful rite of passage experience is like. So it is my honor to introduce all of you to Julie Ryan. Thank you so much, Julie, for being on the show today.
Oh, thanks, Miss Sarah. I'm delighted to be here with you.
Yay. So I'm so excited to just kind of pick your brain and learn a little bit more from you because you have so many incredible experiences that you share with the world. And I guess I just wanted to start by asking you, what first inspired you to work with the angels? Is there a story there that, maybe you could share with us?
There is, absolutely. I am an inventor of surgical devices that are sold throughout the world, some of which have been on the market for 30 years. I'm an entrepreneur. I have founded 9 companies in 5 industries over the past 3 decades. And I tell people I'm a businesswoman who learned how to do woo-woo. And that is the absolute truth.
I love it.
I am not one of the psychics you hear about that's had dead people chasing her since childhood, or if I did, I didn't know it, let alone what I would have done with it had I known about it, Sarah. But as an inventor of surgical devices and being in the medical supply industry for all those years, I was interested, of course, in healing, which got me into the medical intuitive stuff. And the story behind my seeing angels is when my own mother was dying in 2002, there were lots of angels in the room accompanying deceased loved ones as she was progressing towards death. And so I had developed these psychic and medical intuitive skills that I believe we all possess. It's just learning to develop them. As a result of learning how to do that and having the ability to do that, I was seeing absolutely magical things happening in the room when my mother was dying, which put a whole different spin on a heart-wrenching experience.
Wow, that's amazing. I got what I call angel bumps, little tingles going down my arms, because you and I have a very similar, I guess, shared experience. I was with my mother 24/7 for about, I think it was about 9 months or so, leading up to her passing in 2012. And I had quite a similar experience. I have to say, I had a strong background already at that point in connecting with the angels. And so, of course, I was praying and I was connecting with them a lot. I was asking them to intervene. I was practicing energy healing work on her and just doing whatever I could to ease her passage. And you're absolutely right. It is such a beautiful thing to be able to witness what happens in those moments. And I think that you and I both have been given an amazing experience. I know that I feel grateful for, because to witness death, everyone in life, we're going to experience someone who passes. We're all going to face grief, death, the dying process at some point before it's our turn. And that's another part of that human rite of passage as well. So giving a spiritual context to that, I think, is such an amazing gift that you can give people, because certainly for some of us, that's a rocky road. It's not always an easy one,
It
to face
is.
that.
I agree. I agree. And the most interesting part of all of this, Sarah, is that I have to believe that people have been able to see what I see. I call it the 12 phases of transition. And it's when somebody is quickly, or not quickly, when somebody's approaching death, whether it's
Yes.
fast or whether it's a prolonged situation, angels go into different configurations. And that's part of how I can tell how close to death somebody is what configuration the angels and deceased loved ones are in. And there, when I was doing research for my book, I found that there's a prayer, and I had heard this. I was raised Roman Catholic, and I'd heard this at every Catholic funeral I'd attended in my life. And it's called In Paradisum. And it talks about the angels and your loved ones will greet you and lead you into paradise. And so when my own mother was dying, I thought, oh my goodness, this is what this prayer is about. And when I researched it, I found that it originated as a 5th century Gregorian chant. And I
Wow.
have to believe, Sarah, that perhaps it took till the 5th century for people to be learned enough. The monks could read and write, and most of society, regardless of where they were in the world, were illiterate. But I believe that the monks were able to see, as were everybody else, but the monks were able to write down what was happening, and they did it in the form of a prayer that was a chant.
Wow.
And it describes exactly what I was seeing and what I do see when somebody is dying.
That's incredible. What an amazing insight. Oh, and for all of you who are listening, in Julie's book, Angelic Attendants, she does discuss the 12 phases of transition. And I was wondering, Julie, if you could tell us just a little bit more about, generally what are these, and what might we also be able to look forward to as far as what's in your book?
Sure, absolutely. So, as I mentioned, everybody, whether they die instantly or whether it's a prolonged death over days, weeks, months, sometimes years, we all go through what I call the 12 phases of transition. And Sarah, most of us have heard that we're spirits attached to a body having a human experience. And that's what I perceive. I perceive that the spirit is the main part of us and the body is inside the spirit. So when you see someone's aura or you see a picture of a supposed holy person with a halo around their head or around their whole body, that's just their energy field that we're seeing. And so as the spirit separates from the body in the dying process, it attaches to the top of the head and it looks like a bubble that you would see in a cartoon caption where the cartoon character's thoughts or words are as the story is being depicted in the cartoon. And the angels show up and they start off in a circle around the person who's dying. And these appear to me as really big angels, Sarah. They are 5 to 6 feet tall. They have big old wings. They have a white robe on, long hair and flowing locks, if you will.
Yes.
Does that mean that's what they really look like? Absolutely not. That means that's what they look like to me because that's how I picture angels.
Yes.
So somebody else may picture, a round purple ball of energy as an angel, or certainly different cultures and different religions that people are raised in or exposed to will have an effect on how people perceive what an angel looks like. So that's how they appear to me. And then as somebody gets closer to death, that circle opens up into a horseshoe, and that horseshoe continues to expand till in phase 11, it's a straight line. at the foot of the person who's dying. And it's anchored by the person's closest maternal spirits, deceased loved ones. So if their parents are deceased, it'll be their parents. If their parents are alive, it'll be their maternal grandparents, and so on. And then the other interesting part in about oh phase 9, there are well, earlier in that, actually in phase 5, there are additional angels that come in that are placed on either side of the spirit bubble that I call, and then their wings start to move as the person gets closer and closer to death. And the movement of their wings creates a vortex above the person's head, and that helps the spirit separate from the body. And the vortex has an upward pull to it. It reminds me of being in the car and driving through a car wash, when you stay in the car
Yes,
and
yes.
at the end, they turn the dryer on and it suck all the water off of your car. That's what it feels like. And it has a sound that I can hear. And again, when I was researching my book, I thought, I'm just going to see. I Googled wing, vortex, moving wings, vortex. What I found was this is called a wingtip vortex. And every animal that flies and every plane or jet or kite that flies creates a wingtip vortex, easy for me to say, that has
Mhm.
an upward lift, and that's what
Yeah.
makes it fly. And I was like,
Wow.
well, who knew? There's so many engineering drawings all over the internet about the Sarah's riot. So
Wow.
I think it's fascinating that the movement of the angel's wings on the spiritual plane is creating a wingtip vortex to help the spirit separate from the body and create lift. So something that's being done in the spirit world is having an effect in our physical world to help someone transition.
Wow, that's absolutely beautiful. And, I love the way that you describe the things that you're able to pick up on that are happening in spirit. You have such a clear and beautiful connection to all of that. And something that I really love that you say that you teach about your own experiences is that you say that, you came upon your spiritual gifts by learning them. It
Right.
wasn't just like, oh, I was, had it since I was a kid kind of thing. And
Right.
that's the case for a lot of us, I think. So I've been teaching that for a long time. That hey, look, we've all got the ability to hone intuitive gifts to be able to see in some way. So I'd love to hear a little bit more if you could share with us about your experiences in opening that.
Sure, absolutely. Well, as you mentioned, and as I mentioned earlier, we're all born with this ability, and it's just a matter of developing it. We've all had experiences where we think of somebody, and then we either run into them shortly thereafter, or they call us seemingly out of the blue, and we think, "Oh my gosh, what a coincidence!" Well, there's no coincidence there. That's your psychic, your intuitive ability at work, or we have a premonition for something, or we have a gut feeling about something. That's all intuition. And I too, actually, just a few months ago, started teaching a class too. It's all online too, and I have people from all over the world that take it to learn how to develop these intuitive skills and be able to communicate with spirit, both alive and deceased, communicate with animals, communicate with the angels, do medical intuitive work, do healing work, all of that. Once you are able to reach the vibrational level of communicating with spirit, you can do it all. I laugh. I tell people I'm a buffet of psychicness because I do it all. Some people just talk to
Yes.
dead people, some people just talk to angels, but really we have the capacity to do whatever we want. And it's a matter of learning to raise your vibrational level to the level of spirit, because when our spirit is attached to a body, Sarah, what happens is it vibrates at a lower level simply because the body has mass.
Yeah.
And so what I teach is turning this on and off at will. Takes a nanosecond to turn it on, and once you get used to being at that really high vibrational level, you're able to reach it very quickly. It's not necessarily something we do, it's something we receive, and
Yes.
and then we know how to access it.
Yes, absolutely beautiful. I agree. I've experienced a lot of things with the people that I've taught and coached, and certainly in my own experience, where it is something that works through us. It's almost like you don't need to reinvent the wheel. It's not some big complicated, kind of thing. Oftentimes it is accessing a part of us that can just tap in and receive. It's more about letting go and allowing, oftentimes, in terms of navigating this vibration that you're discussing here, in my experience. And we all have the ability to do that. I love how you mentioned too that you've got the buffet of all the different psychic connections you're able to make, because absolutely it's true that all human beings can navigate from one vibration to the next. Even if you don't think that you're psychic and you don't think that you're doing, this kind of thing, you're navigating different vibrations every single day of your life in your everyday experiences. You've got a different vibration when you're, talking with one person that you've got a certain kind of rapport with versus when you're having a different kind of experience during the day. We shape shift to these different vibrations all the time, and it's not really all that different to open oneself to be able to do so when it comes to other kinds of intuitive knowing. So thank you so much for, kind of putting that out there. That's really beautiful. Oh, and I wanted to ask as well, this is a topic that I have so much passion for, so much interest for, is health and wellness and medical intuition. I as well do a lot of that in the one-on-one coaching work that I do with people. And it's so funny. I've been finding more and more often that it's like spirit is sending me a lot of people who need that kind of work. So I know that people like you are so needed in this world to kind of give a sense of intuitively what is happening in the body. So if you could just tell us a little bit more about what it is to scan a physical body, what benefits can people get from that? What kind of information could they expect to gain from that if they were to do that with you?
Absolutely. Well, what I do is I raise my vibrational level to level of spirit. It takes me a nanosecond to turn it on. I don't walk around scanning people because I think that's unethical. And
Agreed.
I don't really want to know, and it's really none of my business. So I connect, I close my eyes, raise my vibrational level, watch a laser beam go from my body wherever I am, and it hooks into the person that I'm scanning wherever they are, anywhere in the world. 99.99999% of my scans are remote. It's very rare that I'm scanning somebody in person unless it's a family member that I happen to be with or a friend. So I shoot energy. I have a hologram of them in my mind's eye that then Sarah, and then I shoot energy from their feet up through the top of their head. And it's like I'm looking at an MRI or a CT scan or an X-ray in my mind's eye. And I'm able to see broken bones, torn ligaments, viral infections, bacterial infections, cancer, metastasis, I mean, whatever. And so there are three parts to a medical scan as I do it. The first one is identification, and the energy is always going to go to the most pressing issue first, whether symptoms are present or not. And so I just follow the trail. I've been doing it for 25 years now, so it's just second nature. So something will be identified. Then immediately thereafter, there will be some type of energetic healing that will commence. And that can take the form of something getting added, something getting sucked out. I see procedures happen all the time that emulate what I saw in the operating room for all those decades when I was in that business. Sometimes I see procedures happen, Sarah, that involve technologies and devices that I don't believe have been invented yet. And that's fun because it appeals to my inventor brain.
Yes.
And so I'll make several passes through somebody. Let's say it goes to your right knee first. We'll deal with that. Goes to your left elbow. We'll do a healing on that. Whatever. We just follow it. And then the third part is what I perceive is that the spirit and the body are all energy, as we know, and it's all holographically entwined. But the spirit is the power source for the body, which is why when somebody dies and their spirit separates from their body doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Well, having said that, energy that's going to be used for a specific purpose, like powering a body, needs to be in some type of a container. And the container, as I perceive it, is what I have coined the energy field membrane. And it reminds me of really thin, stretchy saran wrap, plastic wrap. So when I am scanning somebody, I'm also looking to see if there are any tears or holes in that energy field membrane allowing a leak. And those are caused by emotional something that's happened either in this lifetime or a past lifetime. And so when I see it, most of us have one at least by the age of about 15. I envision myself going into that terror hole and I'm shown some kind of a scene, Sarah, and it will tell me what the year was. And then we can figure out if it was this lifetime or a past lifetime. It'll give me details about what happened. And it doesn't really matter whether the person remembers it or not. Most of the time they do. But as soon as we illuminate it, it repairs that terror hole in the membrane. And it's correlating, I believe, with Eastern medicine as we know it, acupressure, acupuncture, trying to clear energy blocks that to move the chi, move the energy.
Beautiful.
In this case, energy blocks are caused by emotional whatever. Could be somebody called you a bad name when you were little and it hurt your feelings. I mean, really something that's simplistic. And then those blocks build when other life events happen and we get upset, causing enough pressure that it eventually causes a blowout and allows for an energy leak. So we want to fix that. May I tell you a really quick analogy about that?
Yes, yes.
Imagine going to the pet store and buying a goldfish. They're going to put the goldfish in a plastic bag of water in order for you to get it home. So if you have a picture of that in your mind's eye, the goldfish represents our body, the water represents our spirit, and the plastic bag represents our energy field membrane. So if that plastic bag has a little pinhole in it and the water is draining out a drop at a time, for a long time, that fish is going to be fine. But then, over an extended period of time, when enough water is drained out, that fish is going to be in trouble. And
Yeah.
I see the same thing happen with the human energy field. When enough energy drains out, it always precedes any kind of medical condition. So we fix the membrane, we allow the body to return to full power. The body's always going to do what it needs to do to heal itself. And I've never in 25 years ever seen anything that cannot be healed. Everything can be healed.
Yes, agreed. That's so
Yeah.
beautiful. And I imagine that in working as a medical intuitive, that sometimes that intuitive ability is used intersecting being someone who guides those who are going through the death and dying process. Because as you're describing everything, as far as how the energy works in terms of our health and that sort of thing, I'm recalling that and those that I've worked with who are, going through the dying process, that there is something a little different that then starts to happen with their energy when the body starts to go, okay, it's time for me to release. It's time for you to move to the next phase. It's time for you to go through the next doorway, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's such a beautiful thing to witness. And I found that naturally it's almost as if the soul, I've noticed this many times, the soul almost wants to give its life force. It wants to give an incredible amount of love to the people that are around them. I've seen that with like the family members that are surrounding that
Mm-hmm.
person that are going through the dying process. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm not here to repair anything anymore in terms of my physical body. Now I've gotten to the point where I'm here to just offer whatever life force moves through me into love that I'm sending to others around me as I prepare for my, kind of transition. So I'm sure you've probably witnessed quite a lot of the medical scan stuff kind of intersecting with the death and dying process stuff sometimes as well.
Well, as somebody is dying and their spirit is hanging on to the top of their head, I'm unable to do a medical scan at that point because the energy source is out of the body. It would be like
Yeah.
looking at an X-ray in a pitch black room.
Yes.
So I'm unable to get, a medical scan, a visual on a medical scan. I can ask questions and get guidance in my head, but I'm communicating with the person who's dying telepathically. So even if they're unable to communicate, I'm able to communicate with them telepathically so I can tell, are you in pain? The three questions I always ask anybody is, are you ready to go? Are you in pain? What do you need? And I get amazing answers. Are you in pain? It's pretty easy, yes or no. Are you ready to
Yes.
go? Is yes or no. What do you need? Can range from, there's all kinds of stories that are really heartwarming in my book about working with families who had a loved one who was dying, and the just glorious and miraculous and funny a lot of the time stories that happen during that. But I'll have somebody say, I had one elderly man who just wouldn't die, wouldn't die, wouldn't die, wouldn't die. I mean, was in the hospital on intensive care, and they pulled the plug, and he's hanging around for a week, and his family's saying, what is up? And well, he wanted him to file his quarterly estimated taxes. And they
Oh,
and they didn't do it, didn't do it. And finally I said to his daughter, just go get his taxes and put them in the mailbox. And she said, I don't even know where they are. So I asked the dad, and he said, they're in my desk drawer in my bedroom, left side, middle drawer, or whatever. I said, just go to his house, go check that drawer, see if they're in there, and put them in the mailbox. She did just that, Sarah, and the man died within the hour after
oh,
those taxes were mailed. And she said, in the drawer, everything was signed, the check was made out, they were in a addressed envelope, the stamps were on it. She said it was just hysterical. So
yes,
so amazing stories like that. That's a funny story that you would think, really, that's the most
yeah.
important thing to you before you're going, but that was important to him. I have other stories. There was a woman who was elderly who'd had Alzheimer's for a dozen years and was unable to communicate to her family. She's dying. She's telling me telepathically, the family's all in the room with her. She wants them to go get her hymnal, or her missal. She called it her missal. And the granddaughter who was in touch with me was saying, I don't even know what's she talking about, her missal? I said, it like her prayer book that she took to church. So she said, I don't even know where that is. She said, it's next to my bed. It's on the right side. It's in the nightstand. It's in the drawer. I said to the granddaughter, go look, see if it is. There's this red missal prayer book. They bring it back to the hospital, and grandma wants them to sing Amazing Grace and sing some other old hymnals. And she's old. I mean, she's pushing 100.
Oh,
They start singing Amazing Grace. She sang it with them. This is a woman who hadn't
oh,
spoken in 12 years. I have
wow.
goosebumps telling you this.
Yes.
She sang Amazing Grace with them and died right afterwards.
Oh my
So, the
goodness, how
things
beautiful.
that we can facilitate when we develop these skill sets, Sarah, to help not only the person that's transitioning, but also to help the family, I think is just endless. The ways we can help are just endless.
Yes, because it's a transition for everyone around that person.
Right.
Everyone gets to experience a little bit. And, I noticed that it's like when you're very close to someone who's going through that process, and we can imagine it like the door is opening, letting them go home in that moment. The door, you see that door opening as well from one's own perspective as the family member. So you're getting a little taste of what transition is like, no matter what kind of perspective that you have. So absolutely opening these gifts as much as we all can, to whatever little degree we might be able to raise our frequency and be open to seeing in this way. It just brings such a sense of richness and completeness to this very beautiful and important rite of passage. So thank you so much, Julie. It's just so fascinating to hear some of your experiences, and I know that everybody listening, I'm sure, is now chomping at the bit to read this book. It's absolutely amazing, you guys. So I've only just started a little bit of it, but I love it already, and I can't wait for everyone else to read it too. Also, I would like to let all of you know that today we are all very blessed to have Julie be a part of our angel readings that we're going to be doing. So I thought that perhaps we could now bring everybody together for a little guided meditation so that we can all connect and relax and kind of just move into a little bit of a closer vibration ourselves to the angels. And then we can do some readings afterwards. So if you guys are all ready to go ahead and do that, we're going to take just a quick little break here. And then you can get relaxed in a nice private space and we will begin.
I'm offering you a wonderful new opportunity to expose your business to my audience. Email the Bring Me to Life team at at sarahhall.com and let us know if you'd be interested in this special offer. You can feel great about supporting a message you believe in while bringing your own services to light. Again, email us at ads@sarahhall.com for more details.
Okay, so I hope all of you have gotten a chance to relax. If you're in a nice environment to do so, go ahead and just take a moment to sit back, making sure that the body is feeling nice and aligned, closing the eyes. And together we're going to take a moment to deepen and lengthen our breaths. Feeling that breath immediately sailing down into the heart. Gently softening the heartbeat to a nice relaxed and receptive rhythm. And noticing as that openness flows through the heart, that the heart is able to tell all of the body to open and receive. The angels are sending a beautiful soft white and purple light towards us now. Breathe that light in. Letting it fill every cell of the physical body. Noticing that the deeper you breathe, the easier it is to let go of any tension in every muscle, every joint. Feeling so relaxed that it's almost as if we are floating together in this beautiful healing light. Notice and feel as that light floats in down through the top of your head at the crown chakra, through the third eye, and begins to gently trickle like a river, flowing through each of the chakra centers, all the way down the spine. Beautiful renewal and healing, delivering exactly what you need most in this moment. Now with our next breath, we're going to focus in on our heart centers. And here, just go ahead and take a moment to call on your angels. You can call on the archangels or your guardian angels, or any guide with whom you feel strongly aligned. Feeling and knowing that as soon as you beckon, these loving beings are coming in close, holding and uplifting you. As you breathe, you notice that your vibration is gently lifting and raising closer to the peace of the angels. Allow that peace to gently open the heart just a little more, like a flower blooming open to the sun. And as you make that heart connection with your angel now, just take a moment to hold an intention in your heart. Perhaps you have a question or a healing intention you'd like to offer the angels. Just take a moment to silently hold space for that in your heart, offering this question over to your loved ones, your guides, your angels. Good. Now you can see that your angel is sending you a beam of beautiful healing light. And that within this light is contained the resonance of that which you need most, the answer to the question, the healing that you seek. This energy is being sent into the heart now, and just take a moment to breathe it in deeply, giving yourself permission to receive it at all levels of being. The light of that energy, that gift, is now flowing from the heart throughout each of the chakras, moving all the way down the spine. The angels are inviting us to now just take our focus down into the root chakra at the very bottom of the spine. And together to take in a nice long, deep inhale, gathering in that energy of your wish fulfilled. And then on the next exhale, feeling that beautiful river of light flowing right through you into the earth, bringing the energy of your manifestation, of your answered question, your healing, manifest into the physical realm now. And smile, feeling how good it is to receive in this way, and how easy it is. We'll take just one more deep breath, grounding and gathering our presence right here into the present moment. And then as you exhale, go ahead and open your eyes. And you can begin to sit up and bring yourself back into the present, back into the room that you're in, back into the moment that you're in. And now is our time to go ahead and take some of your calls and texts and requests. So if you would like to call or text in, you can do so at 240-979-6366. Again, that's 240-979-6366. Or of course, submit your request in the Bring Me to Life chat room at bringmetolife.com/radio. Just scroll right down and you will see us here in the chat area. It looks like we do already have several of you lined up in the chat room with some reading requests. So let's go ahead and begin and see what we would like to go to first. Okay, so I'm feeling guided to go to, okay, we have Laura who has texted in with the request. She says, my dad has dementia and has been declining in health and has lost 100 pounds in the last year. Laura, I felt really intuitively guided to go to your question because, of course, we have Julie here with us today. Laura also adds, just to give us a little more info on what's going on, that tomorrow his palliative care nurse is coming. And she says, we're going to discuss if he's ready for hospice care. Last summer, she had an angel reading and learned that he was preparing to transition, but we're not sure what stage he's in that transition. So she's saying that it would be great to have a little more clarity and guidance around this so that we can think about hospice. And she says, thank you. So thank you, Laura, so much for messaging us today. Since we have the expert here with us, I'd like to just turn this question, this reading request, right over to Julie and see what you pick up on from the angels, Julie, from your scanning.
Well, while you were talking about Laura, I went ahead and connected with her energetically. As I said, I watch a laser beam go from my body to hers, and then from her to her dad. And her dad is in phase 7 of 12. And what phase 7 looks like, Laura and Sarah, and everybody listening, is the spirit is attached to the top of the head in that cartoon bubble that I talked about, spirit bubble, I call it. There are angels on either side of it. The circle of angels that was originally around him has opened up into a horseshoe. His parent spirits are anchoring that horseshoe at his feet. And then there are lots of other deceased family and friends spirits in the room. And over to the right, as we're looking at him, is what I call the pound. And that's where the animal spirits are, Sarah.
Aw.
And I see spirits of every animal a person's ever had in their lifetime. And I describe them to the family. They're like, oh, yeah, that was Fluffy, and that was Snoopy, and that was whoever. It's a riot. And sometimes I see farm animals in there, and it's invariably
Wow.
somebody that's grown up on a farm. So, Laura, let's ask him 3 questions. Are you ready to go? Yes. Are you in pain? No. What do you need, my family? That's pretty typical. We can certainly get more information. Laura, just go to my website, askjulieryan.com, or call into my show tonight. Sarah's going to be on my show.
Yeah.
We're double timing, and we can get more specific information if you want. And all that information's at askjulieryan.com. So thanks for your question.
Yes, thank you, Laura. That's so beautiful. And thank you, Julie, for that beautiful scan. I had to say, as you were scanning, I was picking up too that absolutely his parents super strong there on the other side. I'm sensing a mother figure on the other side who is like salt of the earth woman. She is so incredibly loving and she's very devoted. Devoted is the strongest word that I'm hearing from her, as if she would always be there front and center for the people that she loved. And I'm seeing her with her arms open really, really wide. So I love that, Julie, you're able to pick up that what does he want? Family. He's got it, it looks like, on both sides there. So it looks like, Laura, one of the best things that you and your family can do is just really surround him and be with him. Remember that this process, through whatever challenges it has, is so beautiful. You are walking him through one of the most beautiful things that can happen. And I think that you will see some very beautiful things. I just saw a little sign as well. Somebody from the other side sending a little butterfly. I see like a little gold butterfly coming in.
No.
So watch for those. Maybe that'll be a sign that you'll be sent sometime soon.
One other thing, Sarah, that may help Laura and anybody else that's listening that has a loved one who's dying, when you go to my website, askjulieryan.com, you can download a chart of all these phases. There are graphics on there, and it's free. And people, when they do that and they show it to family members, it really helps them. It helps comfort them. It helps them get through this. They know their loved ones surrounded by angels and all that. It's really easy to read. You can look at a phase, and in a nanosecond, you can tell what's going on.
Yeah, amazing. I love that. Um, it looks like we just had a caller come on in. So, caller, you are now on the air with us. If you could just tell us your name, maybe where you're calling from today, and what is your question for us?
Hi, Sarah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello, you're on.
Hi, this is Betsy.
Hi, Betsy.
Hi, Betsy.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. What a wonderful show.
Thank you. We're so glad to have you.
I didn't have a question about someone passing, but I have witnessed my own clairs all open up in the last year and see a lot of people on the other side. And I have always felt very connected to the angels, so I keep kind of shying away from it, but I'd be curious about if you had anything to say to me about, or you could see about my connection to the angels and where I could go with that.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, right away, I have to say that one thing that I'm picking up really strong around you is a particular guide. I'm getting Archangel Uriel with you today, really strong. Certainly not the only angel. I'm seeing several other ones around you as well, but Uriel seems to be stepping up to the plate for us right now. And he's just kind of looking around and he's saying, big spiritual gifts. Also, that you've practiced these spiritual gifts, it appears, in a previous lifetime. So the things that you're doing to open your gifts now, almost it's like riding a bike. There's like a muscle memory inherent there that will help you to open quite quickly the more and more that you engage with them. I'm seeing the angels now showing us an image of they're placing a book right in front of you as if we're opening a book, and they're showing us they're showing us a two-way street as if we're giving and receiving through this book at the same time. So one, they're showing us that they would like to teach you. They would like to train you. They would like to tell you many, many, many things about this life, about the universe, about many, many divine truths. Again, that will be like riding a bike because they're probably things that you've known before. The two-way street part of it is that they're saying that you have the ability to give messages as far as what you receive, the kinds of divine, intelligence that you receive. You can share them with others too. You've got this communicator ability with you. And they're showing us your throat chakra lighting up with that. So that's beautiful. And Julie, also, if you're picking up anything for Betsy too, I would love to hear it.
Sure. Hi, Betsy.
Hi.
The couple things I've gotten. First of all, you are surrounded. There's a horseshoe behind you of guardian angels, and in front of them are 7 spirit guides. And spirit guides look to me like variations of Father Time. So picture Dumbledore in the Harry Potter movies or Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings movies. Old man, white hair, long white beard, white robe. Again, does that mean that's what they look like? No. That's how they appear to me. So I know they're spirit guides versus angels, how I described them earlier. But then when we focus on one or more spirit guides, then they morph into what they look like in the lifetime they lived that correlates with what's going on in this current life. So you got a bunch of angels behind you. You also got a bunch of spirit guides there. So you're getting it from a couple of different fronts as far as guidance. The other thing, and I got too, was before you want to communicate with them, if you can take just a second and close your eyes, imagine a geyser of light coming from the ground, shooting up from your feet and up through the center of your body, illuminating your whole body and shooting out through the top of your head, your crown chakra. That's going to help you raise your vibrational level really high, and that's going to help you access all kinds of things that you haven't been able to access yet. It's that quick. I mean, it takes a second. Imagine that geyser, like at Yosemite, you see the geyser coming out of the ground of water. Just imagine that's whitish, yellowish light energy shooting through your body, up through your crown chakra. That's going to immediately raise your vibration level, and you're going to be able to really access more things than you've ever even witnessed so far.
Beautiful. Oh, Betsy, I'm so excited for you. I sense you're on the brink of a really beautiful new chapter. So keep calling on your guides and angels. And I can't wait to hear what else happens for you. Keep in touch with us.
Oh, thank you both so much.
Yes. And thank you for calling in.
Okay. Blessings. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, Betsy.
It looks like we have we have several messages coming in. Let's go into Lori's reading request. I am feeling very guided to go to Lori's. Lori is a hospice and social worker, she says, and she's asking for both a reading about that and any messages that the angels have for her about that work, her purpose, etc. And thank you very much. So again, since we have the wonderful Julie Ryan on the show today, and hospice certainly is right up our alley today with the topic that we're talking about. Julie, if you'd like to do a quick little scan for Lori and see what you get for her.
Sure. First of all, read my book, Angelic Attendants, What Really Happens as We Transition from This Life into the Next. It's in paperback, in audiobook form, and also in digital, like on your Kindle or your laptop or whatever your reader is. And it's really heartwarming, Lori, and it also, I think, will validate, my guess is, a lot of the different things that you experience, because you hospice people are angels on earth, and the work you do is just so magnificent and helps so many people. And my family, certainly, we've utilized hospice on several occasions, and it's always fun for me to get to talk to the caregivers about what they experience. And Sarah, in all the hospice literature, it says, expect that your loved one's going to say they're seeing somebody who's deceased, perhaps a parent or perhaps a religious figure or perhaps a beloved pet who's deceased. And most people think, well, grandma's hallucinating. when in reality, grandma's not hallucinating. Grandma's got one foot in this reality and one in the non-physical reality, and she can actually see what's going on. So, so that's my recommendation, and thank you for doing what you do.
Yes, thank you, Lori, for doing what you do. It's a beautiful service to be in the kind of work that you are in. And my sense as well about it is that you were absolutely divinely guided to do this kind of work, and that I'm hearing one of your angels say it's like a work of art. What you are doing, you can consider it that. It's not only a work of art that you help to complete as these people, your patients, move through their transitions, but it is also a work of art within you in terms of the stories that you gather, the things that you learn, and the things that you are processing on your own spiritual journey. It's like I'm seeing a link hand in hand with this work that you do. Another thing that I'm picking up on that I just wanted to kind of add is I'm hearing one of your angels say the word strength really loud and clear, underlining the word strength. And they're saying, you have great strength. You have great strength that you've gained through so many experiences. And thank you, for this strength. So thank you, Lori, for submitting your question. And
Sarah,
yeah.
I got one other thing for Lori. Lori, there's a part in my book, and I call it the walk to heaven. And I know you've experienced this as a hospice provider. So many people are so afraid to die. And I think, Sarah and Lori, it's because we've been so inundated by our cultures and our religions about heaven and hell and la 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 and all that kind of nonsense. And so, when I take the walk to heaven with somebody, I do that with somebody who's very afraid to die, and I do kind of a dress rehearsal. It's not kind of, I do a dress rehearsal with them, with their spirit, of what's going to happen when they actually separate from their body, so that it makes them understand there's nothing to fear. And so, Lori, I think that information would be really helpful to you to help give that kind of care to your patients. And you know what I'm talking about, because there are a bunch of them who are they're afraid to let go. And I know that information can help too. So thanks for letting me add that.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. I think we could all use that information too. We could all read and learn a little bit more on that. That's wonderful. Let's go over to it. We've got quite a few readings here, and I'm feeling guided to go towards Harry. Harry says, "I'm interested in receiving an intuitive scan. I've been challenged with some extreme nervousness and weight loss for the past 2 years. Thank you." So I would like to just kind of start by contributing something to you, Harry. The first thing that I'm picking up right now is just around the spiritual aspect of the nervousness. I'm feeling one of your guides coming in right now and saying that you are being challenged with an opportunity to release what appears to be deeper set fears and anxieties that were passed along in what appears to be your ancestry, one parent to child teaching the lesson of nervousness, or even it being there somewhere in our conscious DNA, this pattern of there being a fear. And what is there, just looking at kind of the spiritual root of what's in the ancestral pattern, I'm picking up on a worldview, like an outlook on the world itself that subconsciously, said it is something that feels unsafe to be in this world. There's something about being in this world that feels unsafe, as if there is a fear of lack that is coming in, and ancestors who perhaps even maybe experienced some lack, down the line somewhere, but then taught that attitude going down through the lineage. For you, the angels are saying, if you would like to call upon them, work with them, perhaps even look into ancestral healing and that kind of thing, but work with the angels, because you have the ability to heal some very ancient or deep roots with regard to the nervousness that is there, especially again around the fear of lack. And you have, they just added something to this that I love. They pointed to your heart. They say you have a very strong heart, very open heart, and that your soul chose this lineage for a reason. It said, hey, I'm strong. I'm ready to get down to business. I have the ability to transform something within this lineage, but this lineage has the ability to awaken extreme strength within me and wisdom within me. And I can use that to make my little imprint on humanity, on the world, and there's life purpose involved in the very thing that you are looking to heal right now. So work with that and know that you've got the potential to do something wonderful through all of this. And also, of course, since we have Julie here to help with certainly the medical scan part of this, or anything else that you're picking up on, Julie, I'd love to hear what you'd like to contribute.
Yeah. Hi, Harry. I was connected to you while Sarah was chatting and telling you what she was getting from the angels. You have a lot of exposure to EMFs, electrical magnetic frequencies, and we get that from computer and Wi-Fi, and most of our houses have smart meters on them and cell phones and God only knows what else. So your energy field right now looks like snow on a malfunctioning TV screen. So what I did was I grounded you. So I did a healing on you while Sarah was talking with you, and I grounded you to get your energy grounded. The easiest way to do that is to walk barefoot on cement or on the grass or in dirt. And if you live somewhere, Harry, where it's really cold, hopefully you have a basement with a cement floor. Go walk on the cement floor barefoot and it's going to ground you. Google grounding or earthing and you'll learn information on that. The other thing I get on the nervousness and anxiety is it has a lot to do with your food and what you're eating. Food is medicine. So stay low on the food chain. Easy way to remember it is if God made it, eat it. If man made it in a factory, avoid it. And so anything that's processed, try and avoid. That's going to help you be able to deal with and eliminate that anxiety and nervousness that I'm getting right now from you.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I have to second that. As soon as Julie started talking about, the food stuff being able to make a big difference, I had this little image around Harry of like a rainbow moving up from the ground and then going all the way up his energy body. And right away, as I looked a little closer into the rainbow, I was feeling Archangel Raphael, our healing angel, saying, "Yeah, rainbow colors of fruits and vegetables and plants, and yes, food is medicine." And if you call on Raphael as well, Harry, he will help to guide you to exactly the food medicines that your body is asking for the most to help bring more balance and calm to your system, which you deserve. And I can't wait to see you get to that point of healing. That's a wonderful thing. So it looks like, you know what, let's just squeeze in just one more reading real quick. I'm seeing in the chat and among the texts that we actually have several people who have asked about opening their intuitive abilities. And Michelle asks, how did Julie receive medical intuitive abilities? She says, I've been receiving lessons from body scanning, from spirit on medical intuition. Just not sure how to put it all together. I'm already doing psychic and mediumship, but I'm really excited to move more into this. So let's just go ahead and see what we'd like to get from Michelle. Okay, first thing that I'm picking up, you've got a lot of angels around you, but Archangel Michael is coming forward really strong for me right now. Just saying, I've been working very clearly and closely with you, Michelle. You've probably already picked up on this. And faith. He's been working on faith and trust with you a whole lot and moving directly into doing this, the medical intuitive kind of healing and scanning. Trust in what you are getting. I'm actually feeling that you're getting a lot that is really on point and that you are ready to start helping people. And actually, I'm just seeing Archangel Michael smiling really broad about that, ready to help people. He's happy about that. And your faith will help to grow that a lot. So I'll let Julie take it away and talk a little bit more about how she received her medical intuitive abilities and anything else that she picks up on too.
Right. To piggyback on what you were just saying, Sarah, your point about trust, that came in really big for me, Michelle. And the thing about it is you've got to be with somebody who's a practitioner or a teacher that you trust because it's a transfer of energy. And that's what I do in my classes. And Sarah, I'm sure that's what you do in your classes too. But in my medical intuitive classes and psychic classes, I've got my vibration level cranked so high during those 2-hour classes that I am transferring that energy over to my students. And that's what happened with me. My teacher transferred that very high vibration level over to me. And I find that after 4 weeks of doing that, then the person's so used to being in that super high vibrational level that they're able to access it on their own. So my classes, the first hour is we have discussion and lecture and that kind of stuff, which is fun. It's all online. And then the second hour is practicum. So we're practicing, okay, communicating with spirit alive and deceased, doing medical intuitive stuff, that kind of thing. So I think, again, something that Sarah and I both mentioned earlier is it's something you receive. It's not something you do. It's something you receive. It's kind of like it dawns on you that, oh,
Yes.
I'm able to do this.
Yes. Oh, yes. I love that. That's so beautiful. And you can find ways, certainly, for everyone else who also asked a question about opening your intuitive abilities, because I see several of you asked that. Know that process of raising your vibration, Julia is absolutely right. I experienced the same thing in working with teachers myself, that their vibration is at a very high level. They do have the ability to help transfer that over to their students, and then even to open the door to where you've got the angels helping you to keep that vibration really high as well. And there are ways that you can maintain that in your everyday life. I like to do it at a mind, body, and spirit approach, where you do things to support your body, to keep your body at a high humming level of vibration. And that usually falls under the realm of self-care, feeding your body what it needs to be fed, taking care of your body in such a way where it feels it can be a really clear, an open container for that high vibration. And then, applying the same principle to the mind and to the spirit. At that level, I love to practice meditation regularly as something to kind of keep us there, in that resonance. And then the more that you practice it, and Julie's kind of reflected on this a few times, and I love this because she says you can open it in a nanosecond. It's totally true. The more that you practice it, the more familiar you'll get. And also, the stronger your faith is automatically going to get in all of this, making it so much easier to automatically get into that high vibrational state that allows this stuff to flow. You're just a receiver for it, and that makes it so easy when you think of it that way. So thank you everybody for your different questions on opening the intuitive gifts, and of course thank you Michelle as well for your question. So it looks like, you guys, we are at the end of our time together. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember that I will be live on bringmetolife.com, bringing you spiritual discussions and angel messages every month. You can join us again on Thursday, May 2nd for Angel Hour, where we'll be doing a full hour of angel readings. Thursday, May 16th for the next episode of Through the Eyes of the Angels. And you can learn more about Julie at askjulieryan.com. As we said earlier, I will also be on Julie's podcast, Ask Julie Ryan, this evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So do tune in for that. You'll find all of the details at askjulieryan.com. We will both be giving some angel readings on that show as well. So if you'd like another chance for reading for us, please join in. Can't wait to connect with all of you. And if you want to listen to past episodes of Through the Eyes of the Angels, you'll find them on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, and Stitcher. Do keep in touch. And if you would like to connect with me for your own private angel reading or healing session, you can visit my website at sarahhall.com and with Julie at askjulieryan.com. Of course, do follow the bringmetolife.com network for more inspirational content, and all of my love and gratitude goes with all of you. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.